The country is treading swiftly on the growth trajectory. March quarter GDP growth has accelerated to 7.9% versus a revised 7.2% in December 2015. India maintained its lead over China, the world's second largest economy, where GDP growth slowed to a 7-year low of 6.7% between January and March 2016. We get to more in this report.
Good news on the economic front. Green shoots of recovery that started in 2014 have bloomed into full-blown trees of growth by the end of fourth quarter of financial year 15-16. Indian economy grew at 7.6% for the financial year 15-16. If we number crunch, quarter-wise the growth has been above 7% throughout the year. Starting Q1 when the country grew at 7.5% to 7.6% in Q2. In the third quarter, India grew at 7.2%. But it was the fourth quarter that saw stellar growth at 7.9%. Breakdown of Q4 numbers show manufacturing was the bright spot. It grew at 9.3%. Mining sector grew at 8.6%. Farm sector, on which a substantial population of the country is dependent, grew at 2.3% from minus 1.7% a year ago. Construction sector grew at 4.5%. The 7.6% growth rate for financial year 15-16 is the same as projected by the Central Statistics Office in its advanced estimates of the national income early in February this year. India is now officially the fastest growing major economy in the world. India's upbeat outlook contrasts with neighboring China, where growth slipped to 6.7% in the first quarter, the slowest posted by the world's second largest economy in the last 7 years. Siddhant Sibal, DD News, New Delhi.
And to talk more about this, we have a guest in the studio. We're joined in by Mr. Anil Padmanabhan. He is Deputy Manager Editor for a leading newspaper. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us this evening on Newsnight. The country is treading swiftly on the growth trajectory. 7.9% is the GDP growth number as against a revised 7.2% for the quarter in December 2015. What factors led to this stellar performance?
See, this acceleration is based on a pickup in consumption in the economy. As you're aware, the loss of the momentum in consumption is one of the key reasons which can be linked to rural distress, which led to the GDP growth decelerating faster than what we had thought. So that consumption pickup is the most visible takeaway from this, and which has been the main reason why GDP has rebounded so well to touch almost 8% growth.
All right. Now, when we talk of this specifically of the growth targets, the growth numbers which have come for the fourth quarter, now inflation was centric to it. If I ask you, what is the road ahead from here on? Because there are some reports which suggest that the growth from here on in the following quarters will hover somewhere around 7.6%. So how do you see the coming months?
See, the headline number on growth is likely to stay around where it is projected. I don't think that's the cause of worry. The good news is that consumption pickup in the economy has happened, as we just
And that's promising enough in the coming months?
Yes, and with the good monsoon on its way, so rural distress will alleviate, which means there will be a further boost to consumption. Then you have the 7th Pay Commission implementation, which means another boost to consumption. But that's not the concern. The concern is, how do I sustain this growth in a non-inflationary manner, as you rightly said. We must keep in mind that global oil prices are beginning to now firm up. So the cushion that you got from global commodity prices decelerating or declining, at a tremendous pace is now kind of bottomed out. The other side of it is that investment demand in the economy has not begun to pick up as yet. We are not seeing any visible strains of it. In the private sector, yes, government investment is continuing to grow, but there are limits to it because of the fiscal deficit constraints that both the union and state governments have. So the challenges is that inflation is beginning to bottom out, so the period of disinflation is over, but private investment demand is not yet picking up. So till that kicks in, the 7.6%, the headline number, you shouldn't worry. The quality of the growth we need to focus on going forward. I think the worst is definitely behind India, but now how do you take this forward in a sustainable manner is the big question.
All right, we've talked of the areas which have shown good positivity here. The areas which need more attention in the coming months?
Investment demand. See, the government has done a lot in the last 2 years in ease of doing business, creating incentives for industry to come back, creating enabling environment for startups. So they have worked very hard to improve the economic plumbing, as it were, of the economy. Now the onus is entirely on the Indian private sector and the global private sector who are present in India to now begin their investment demand. Till that time, you'll see this growth. Yes, it's good, but the sustainability issue will come up and inflation threats will emerge.
All right, we have the finance minister in Japan urging investors to invest in India. Now, this report, the figures come at a time when India is being looked to be moving ahead of China, as we showed in our report as well. The growth numbers of China are on a decelerating note. So how important is this report for India as it cements its position on the global page?
Oh, for the FM, this is terrific news, because he's right in the middle of an investor circuit where he's soliciting investments for India. So it's a great moment to showcase that his economy is recovering. But in the context of China, I don't think we should really draw comparisons on growth rates, because we are fundamentally different sized economies. India is a 2 trillion economy, China is 11 trillion. So 6% for China at 11 trillion and 8% for 2 trillion are a little difficult to compare. But yes, as an investment destination today, India seems to be the best place in the world, because everything seems to be coming together. But like I said, there are some concerns, but yes, we should celebrate the good news.
All right, we should celebrate. Thank you so much, sir. We'll end this discussion on this note of celebration. Thank you for joining us on Newsnight this evening. So that was Mr. Anil Padmanabhan telling us more that the growth targets, the growth numbers have been announced today. But in the coming months, what more is important is this growth number, this growth announcement of the growth, GDP growth number should be sustained.